name is Casey, and today I'm going to be doing my Admire presentation on my former assistant manager slash general manager, Carissa. I worked closely with her at McDonald's for about 6 to 7 years, and within that time, I was able to observe a lot of managerial behaviors that I was able to pick up on myself. And there's a lot of things that I admire about her as a person, as a boss, but I want to focus on her personality traits that really helped create me into the manager that I was. I admire her work ethic, her dedication to her employees in the company that she worked to, her communication skills, and her people skills. First, let's talk about Carissa's work ethic. Carissa always had a phenomenal work ethic. She always showed up to work on time, dressed appropriately, and ready for her shift. She always answered employee questions, and I feel like that is such an important part of being a manager, and that really shaped how I managed as well. She didn't just say, "This is how we do it." She explained why we did it that way, and if somebody didn't know how to do a task, she was more than happy to help them and teach them the correct way on how to do it. And I feel like that takes a lot of work ethic, because it's a lot easier to just say, "Okay, I'll do it myself," or "I'll find somebody to do it." She took the time to sit down and really teach the employee how to do the task. She always followed the rules, and as a manager, I feel like that's really important. It's easy to cut corners, and I feel like her taking the time to follow the rules all the way through really put her at the same level as the employees, saying, "We all do the task the same way." And she always followed through with every promise that she made to her employees, which I think is very important to gaining employee trust. Carissa worked for McDonald's for 12 years, giving up her weekends and working several holidays. When you're assistant manager at McDonald's, which is how I worked with her most of the time before she was promoted to a general manager, and then I was working under her as the assistant manager, you have to work the 8 to 5 on the Saturday and Sunday shift. Every weekend. You don't really get a weekend off unless you request it off, and it's always the busiest shift of the week is the Saturday lunch rush, and you are always in charge of that. Assistant managers always have to work, all the managers actually have to work all holidays except for one, and you have to work at least 5 hours. So that's a lot of dedication to the company right there. Who wants to work on 4th of July, Labor Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve? And she never complained. She never once complained about the hours she worked. She went in, she did her job correctly, properly, all the way through. Being an assistant manager also means that you have to answer questions around the clock. They have to be available, because what if your multiplex breaks, which is the thing that makes the pop. You have to be able to for questions like that. I remember the one week I did not understand how to do a task, and she's out sick the entire week. I FaceTimed her. I was like, "Can you please walk me through this task?" Nobody else at the store knows how to do it, and she did. And I feel like that's a very admirable task for somebody to have, to be sick at home and say, "Yes, I'm still gonna help you." Lastly, I want to talk about Carissa's communication and people skills. I feel like this was really where she excelled, and this was a big learning point for me when working under her. She was able to effectively communicate with the team during the busiest times and always have a professional relationship with her employees. Working in a restaurant, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you understand that sometimes things get really crazy, really busy, really fast. She always made sure that the people on her shift knew exactly what they were doing, where they were going, and always communicated what was going on, and there was always an open line of communication. Another thing that she did really well was when she talked to employees about their performance reviews, which are normally dreaded by a lot of employees. She made it a very fun task. She constructively always gave back feedback. She always made sure to really listen to the employee and their concerns and build a nice professional relationship in which they can use to grow in the organization. Her professional people skills always created a positive environment. I never felt like I needed to worry about going into work or not having my concerns voiced. I felt like she always really looked out for all of the employees. So in conclusion, I admire Carissa for her dedication, not only to her company, but most importantly to her employees. It really shaped me as a manager, and it taught me how to value my employees. Not so much so that they would work the best for me, so that you could just have the best type of relationship and be able to effectively run a restaurant by being able to talk and create a positive environment. She always showed up and was a real role model for all employees on how they should act as soon as they clock in and as soon as they clock out. Carissa showed me how to be organized in my work and how to talk and create relationships with all employees and really be an effective manager.